looks very beautiful. Join me today as I show you how I created these beautiful winter arrangements from things that I have foraged from our property and things that I have also planted. If you are new here, my name is Chantel. I garden in zone 5B 6A. Welcome to my garden. I'm taking some multiflora rose hips. They are gorgeous and they add this Christmas element with the red color that they have in here. They are an invasive in our area, so one has to be careful if you are using them in your arrangements. But I find them to be more manageable than the invasive bittersweet vine. It is very difficult to eradicate. Just look at these hips. They're perfect. Just look at how gorgeous these berries are on the bittersweet vine. It is a beautiful sight to see in the late fall, but unfortunately, as you can see, what it does, it weighs down branches, it chokes trees, and eventually the trees and any plants that are around it die, and it's super invasive. It seeds itself everywhere, as you can imagine, with all these berries that are there. Those are thousands and thousands of seeds, probably millions. That will end up in our garden that we have to eradicate. I am trying to eradicate this plant from our garden, but it is super difficult because, as you can imagine, if I do not get to it in the fall and then it puts on so many seeds like this, and then all these seeds will end up sprouting, or at least a lot of them, the next season. And many will stay dormant in the ground until they have the opportunity to sprout again. And these are vines that, if you can get to the source, you would want to cut the source and paint them with a paintbrush with a brush killer. And unfortunately, there's no organic way to eradicate these because they put out these runners, and you cannot just pull them, because if you have any little bit of a root, it will sprout again. I have found so many beautiful things while foraging. An example of that are these branches right here. I'm not exactly sure what they're from. Look at these red stems. I don't know what they are. I mean, they could be dogwoods. I found them in the back in our woods, an area that we haven't cleared up yet, and they also have a beautiful green hue to them at the bottom, and it's only the new wood that have this beautiful color to them. The old wood is just kind of a grayish brown color, but they are gorgeous. Another example of that is, of course, the multiflora rose, which I have showed you earlier. Look just how beautiful this looks up against the green of the spruce over here. Also, I found some staghorn sumac. These are actually dead because I did spray the shrub, because these are kind of an invasive on our property. I think they are native to here, but native plants tend to act a little bit like invasive plants. I'm not exactly sure if they are invasive, so that's something I would have to look into, but I don't want them on my property, so I have been spraying them. But we have them all over the place over here in our state and in the states next to us. So if I want any staghorn sumac, I could just go by the side of the road and grab some. This is also some euonymus that I was growing in our flower bed. And the eastern white pine over here, we have several of these trees on our property. They are beautiful. Right here, these kind of tan branches that you see right here are the branches from the honeysuckle, and they are just gorgeous. I also love their contorted habit. I think these will add some beautiful character to our winter arrangements. Another plant that I have found on the side of roads near us is the native holly plant, and there are tons of them all over the place. You find a lot of people by the side of the road grabbing those berries because they are just gorgeous in winter arrangements. This time, however, I decided I'm going to use the rose hips that I have gathered from our property. I have these two pots over here that we are going to be creating a winter arrangement in. I have already removed the plants from here. I cut them at the bottom of the stems and I did not replace the soil because I want the roots that are in here to help hold the arrangement better together. And I have also watered these pots so that it's super easy to pierce the arrangements in here. When you are creating winter arrangements, you want to create them in layers, just like you would with your summer containers. For the first layer, I'm starting over here with this white eastern pine, and I'm cutting them down to a smaller size, and I'm trying to pick pieces that would appear fuller and just kind of staggering them around the perimeter of the pot, and I'm putting them at an angle. I want them to be standing up a little bit, but not too much. I just kind of want them to have this flowy feel to them. And as you are creating your pots, you want to step back and look at them from a distance so that you can see if you need to make any adjustments. I'm also working on creating this beautiful wreath for the front door with the same material that I used for the containers. You can see here we have the junipers, the euonymus, some hollyberries, and a little bit of pine, and that's all I am using. In this one, I did not use the spruce. I felt like it was a little bit too dry. So I will be spraying these with some wilt stop along with the containers as well to finish them up so that they can last a little bit longer. And I'm using this floral wire to secure the bundles to this wreath form over here. And you can see I'm tightening it so much that the wreath is kind of bending. But I have to do that so that the bundles do not fall off. If I have some light today, I'll show you how it looks like by the end of this video. Next, I'm going to work on these red branches over here. I'm going to start with the tallest branches first. And because I have a plant in the middle, I'm not going to be able to put them directly in the middle. I forgot that I had juniper, so I grabbed some juniper branches, and I'm also going to be adding these in here. I decided not to use the honeysuckle branches. I just did not like their contrast with these beautiful red branches over here. They just did not work out together. There wasn't enough contrast. The honeysuckle branches with these branches looked like muted red, and the striking red color from these beautiful branches was taken away. So I just found it better to just have these as the focal point. And there they are. Aren't they beautiful? Look at them. Now I will be taking the pumpkins out after Thanksgiving, but I think for now they look so beautiful together, and it just adds to the festivity of Thanksgiving. So right after Thanksgiving, or maybe even during Thanksgiving, I might be taking some of these to make some pie with them. But let me give you a close-up of these containers over here. So we have at the bottom, the bottom layer, this is the white eastern pine, and then I have the blue spruce right there, and then we have another layer of the blue juniper. This is a creeping type juniper, and I also added these beautiful red branches. Again, I don't know what the name is because I got these from the shrubbery, the area where we haven't cleared out yet. And then I also used some euonymus. I did not want a lot of euonymus. I just wanted it to add in a little bit of that pop of color. And I did not film myself putting in these beautiful rose hips because they are full of thorns, and it was super painful to put them in. So I did not want to show that. You can see here, I wanted the rose hips to be in the canopy of the branches as well as over these beautiful evergreen branches, because I thought that would kind of make them look like ornaments, sort of. And that's the other one over here. They look pretty symmetrical. I think it's starting to get dark. I'm glad that I did not use the honeysuckle branches. I'm sure I'll find some other use for them. I still have a little bit of the branches. I also did not use the staghorn sumac. I may put it in there. We'll see what happens. I also was thinking of grabbing some pine cones, and if I see some pine cones around the property, I will get them. Right now it's getting dark and I totally forgot while I was foraging to grab the pine cones. I did see one the other day, so where there is one, there might be more. So I was thinking of just gluing them to maybe a piece of metal or a wooden stick and just sticking them into the pots over here just to add a little bit more texture and a little bit of a different color in here, because I do love pine cones in Christmas and winter arrangements. I think they add a lot of interest and it just makes it also look even more full and more natural, and it adds a little bit of height also to those branches that we have down low. You can do this with things that you have in your garden. You can also go and forage around your area, and you want to check with your town to make sure that you are able to do that. I ended up stopping by the side of the road and picking up some holly berries, and I stuck them in here because I felt like it was missing something. Those rose hips kind of disappear in the sun. They look nice on a beautiful cloudy day, but in the sun they're just kind of tiny, so it needed some pop of color. And I also stuck these pine cones in here. You see they add a little bit more interest in here, and I think they just make it come all together. And this is a view, sorry my shadow's in the way, this is a view from the side over here, and this is the other one over here. They're sort of symmetrical, but kind of not, with the pine cones. And I think they're just gorgeous. I love them very much. And I hope that they gave you some inspiration to create your own winter containers. The wreath is done. It took me a while to finish it, maybe an hour or two. But I think it looks very beautiful, and it has a little tail at the bottom right there. Sorry, my camera's shaking because I do not have my tripod, my gimbal with me. And I did put this beautiful bow for it, and I think it makes it just look extra special. Now it doesn't need it, but I just felt like the colors are a little bit muted and it needed something a little bit extra. I have it on the door handle right now because I need to find my wreath hanger, and then I will put it up on the door. Our door needs to be cleaned badly. Just ignore that, but I think all of them together will look really beautiful. I just wish I was able to find my wreath hanger. It's probably buried somewhere in my Christmas bin. And just so that you guys can see it hanging, I did put it up between our garage doors. I think it looks very beautiful even here, but I do want it at the front door. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye!